The stars above Colony Outpost 17 looked cold and quiet, just like the metal buildings below. The wind blew dust across the empty ground. There was no noise, no people, just machines and the hum of power lines. Inside the small power station, Milo, a human engineer, sat at his workbench. He wore simple clothes, his hands covered in grease. He was fixing a broken circuit board, the same way he did every day. He lived alone. He didn't mind. He liked peace. He liked machines more than people. Far above, hidden in the dark sky, a ship approached silently. It was not a human ship. It belonged to the Durrell, a strong alien race known for war and honor. The ship was small, shaped like a blade. Inside it was Ruva, one of the Durrell's top warriors. She had dark skin with a light blue glow, sharp eyes, and armor made of black crystal. Her mission was clear: kill the human named Milo. She had trained her whole life for missions like this. Fast, silent, perfect. She believed humans were weak, but dangerous. Her leaders said Milo was special, a threat to the future. He must be removed. Her ship landed far from the colony, in a rocky area. She stepped out, silent as a shadow, and moved toward the power station. Her boots made no sound. Her weapon was ready. Her breathing was calm. She reached the edge of a roof and saw Milo through the window. He was fixing a drone, completely unaware of her. Too easy, Ruva thought. She aimed her weapon through the open window. Her finger moved toward the trigger. But then, she stopped. Milo wasn't a soldier. He wasn't training troops or building weapons. He was fixing a small, broken machine. He even smiled a little when it started working. Why was this man a threat? Ruva shook her head. She had a job. She must complete it. Her hand pressed the trigger. Suddenly, zap! Her weapon sparked and shut down. Power failure. Her stealth field dropped. Milo turned quickly and saw her on the roof. Their eyes met. Milo didn't scream. He didn't run. He slowly placed the drone on the table and stood up. "You're not from around here," he said calmly. Ruva jumped down. She pulled out a blade and rushed toward him. But Milo flipped a switch on the wall. Clank, metal doors dropped, and the room sealed. Ruva hit the barrier, surprised. "Magnetic locks," Milo said. "Old but strong." She turned to face him. Her blade was still ready, but her leg hurt from the fall. She tried to hide the pain. "I don't want to fight you," Milo said, raising his hands. "But I will defend myself if I have to." "You are the enemy," Ruva growled. "I fix machines. I grow food. I haven't spoken to another human in 2 years," he replied. "How am I your enemy?" Ruva didn't answer. Her order said nothing about him being a quiet engineer. Her leg gave out and she dropped to one knee. Milo moved forward, careful. "Let me help," he said. She aimed the blade at him, but her hand was shaking. She didn't want to show weakness, but her leg was bleeding. Milo grabbed a small kit and gently knelt beside her. "This isn't a trick. I just don't like seeing people in pain, human or not." She didn't stop him. He wrapped her leg in a bandage. He worked quickly without fear or anger. She watched him closely. "Why?" she asked. "You could have killed me." "But you didn't," Milo said. "That means something." For the first time, Ruva felt unsure. Her people taught her humans were cruel, selfish, violent. But this one showed her something else. "Rest here. Just for tonight," Milo said. "The storm's coming." Outside, black clouds began to form. The wind screamed louder. A sandstorm was moving in fast. "I don't trust you," Ruva said. "Good." "I don't trust you either," Milo replied. "But I won't hurt you." She looked at him again. No fear, no lies. Just calm. She sat back slowly, her blade on her lap. She didn't point it at him anymore. Milo gave her a bottle of clean water. "Drink. Storms here can last for days." She took it without a word. For hours, they said nothing. Only the sound of wind and thunder filled the room. The walls shook, but the shelter held strong. Ruva closed her eyes, just for a moment. She had planned to kill this man. But now, she was, sitting beside him, injured, confused, and unsure. Something had changed, and this was only the beginning. The sandstorm outside roared like a wild beast. Dust slammed against the walls of the power station. Inside, the lights flickered, and machines hummed in the background. The two strangers sat in silence. Milo leaned against a wall, cleaning a broken drone part. Across the room, Ruva, the alien warrior, rested with her eyes half open. Her leg was bandaged. Her blade lay beside her, but her hands were still close to it. She didn't sleep. She didn't trust him. Milo glanced at her. "I have food, if you eat like us." "I eat," she said, her voice flat. He handed her a protein bar. Ruva sniffed it, then took a careful bite. Her face showed nothing, but she kept eating. "Not poisoned," Milo said with a small smile. "I don't joke," Ruva replied. "I do," he answered. "It helps, especially when you live alone." She looked around. The power station was small, filled with tools, wires, screens, and shelves of spare parts. A small plant grew in a glass jar. There was a bed in the corner, but Milo hadn't used it last night. He let her have it. "Why are you here?" Ruva finally asked. "I maintain the station," Milo said. "It powers nearby mining bots. Most people left this place years ago. I stayed." "You stayed alone?" she asked. "I prefer peace." Ruva stared at him. "You were marked as dangerous." "I've never hurt anyone," Milo said. "I fix broken things. That's all." She frowned. Her orders were clear. Milo was to be removed before he caused harm. But what harm? He didn't look like a leader, or a soldier, or a scientist. Just a quiet man, with a kind face and steady hands. Her blade sat on the table beside her. She reached for it and turned it on. Buzz. Nothing. Ruva narrowed her eyes and tried again. Buzz. Click. Still nothing. Her weapon was dead, Milo noticed. The storm must have fried its power core. Happens a lot out here. She stood slowly and handed him the blade. "You trust me with that?" he asked. "I trust you want to stay alive," she said. "Fix it." He nodded. "Fair." Milo placed the alien blade on his workbench. He studied it with curiosity. The design was sleek, unlike anything from Earth. "Durell tech," he whispered. "Very advanced." Ruva watched him work. He didn't rush. He respected the tool, like it was something alive. His hands moved with skill and care. She began to see why he was good at fixing machines. He treated them like friends. "You know machines well," she said. "Better than I know people," he replied. "Machines don't lie," Ruva added. Milo nodded. "And they don't try to kill you unless they're broken." She didn't answer, but part of her understood. After an hour, Milo looked up. "It's working again." "But it has a limiter now. Low power mode." "Why?" she asked, her voice sharp. "If you want full power, I'll remove it. But I prefer we keep things calm." Ruva took the blade and tested it. The blue light glowed, but softer now. She didn't attack. Instead, she placed the blade back on the table. "I could have killed you," she said. "But you didn't," Milo replied. "Because you confused me?" He raised an eyebrow. "That's new. Most people just ignore me." "You fight without anger. You speak with peace. You show mercy." "I fix things," he said simply. "You fixed me," she whispered. There was a strange silence between them. The storm outside grew weaker. The winds began to die down. Dust settled on the windows. Ruva stood and looked out. The desert stretched far. Her ship was buried under sand. The communicator was destroyed. "You're stuck here," Milo said softly. I don't need help, she answered quickly. I didn't say you did. I just said you're stuck. She sighed, frustrated. Another ship will come, or I'll walk to the next station. That's a 2-day walk in open heat, Milo said. You won't make it on a bad leg. She didn't argue. She knew he was right. So, what now? He asked. I wait. Here? For now. Milo nodded. All right, just don't break anything. No promises, she replied. For the first time, Milo laughed. It was soft, but real. Ruva didn't laugh, but her eyes changed. Less cold now. He went back to work. She sat down, this time without gripping her blade. The storm had passed, but something else was just beginning. Ruva had come to kill him. But now, she sat in his home, eating his food, using his bed, and letting him fix her weapon. Her thoughts were a mess. Maybe her orders were wrong. Maybe he wasn't the threat. Maybe something else was. The storm passed, leaving silence across the desert. Red dust covered everything outside the power station. The sky was clear again, and 2 suns rose slowly above the hills. Inside, Milo boiled water and poured it into 2 metal cups. Ruva sat, near the window, cleaning her blade. Her leg was healing, but she still walked with a slight limp. Here, Milo said, handing her a cup. It's not strong tea, but it's warm. Ruva took it without looking at him. Thank you. They drank in silence for a while, then Milo spoke. I checked the scanners this morning. Your ship's buried deep under the sand. Its core is cracked. I guessed that, Ruva said. Can you fix it? No, Milo replied. Not without parts I don't have. Ruva didn't show emotion, but her fingers tightened around the cup. How far is the next outpost? 3 days on foot, and the radio's fried, too. Storm hit it hard. Ruva stood and walked to the door. She opened it slowly and looked at the desert. Heat waves danced across the ground. No signs of life, no ships, no signals. We're stranded, she said. Milo nodded. For now. Ruva walked back in, closing the door. I don't like waiting. Neither do I, Milo said, but sometimes there's no choice. She sat down again, eyes scanning the room. What do you do all day here? Mostly repairs. Maintenance. I grow food in the back, run checks on the bots outside, and think. Think about what? Milo looked out the window. Why I'm still here. Ruva tilted her head. You could have left. I did once. Lived on a human city ship for years. Saw wars, lies, greed. Came here for peace. And you found it? Until you showed up with a blade, he said with a small smile. She looked away, not sure how to answer. Do you still plan to kill me? Milo asked, his tone calm. Ruva stayed quiet for a moment, then said, I don't know. That's better than yes. She gave him a sharp look, but there was no anger, only confusion. Later that day, Milo worked outside, checking solar panels. Ruva followed, her eyes scanning the horizon for threats. Her warrior instincts never rested. Something's wrong, she said suddenly. What? The air. It smells different. Milo sniffed. Dust. From the storm. No, something else. She walked toward the edge of the hill. There, buried under sand, was a strange object. Milo helped her dig it out. It was a black metal box, cracked on one side. A small light blinked on the top. It's a beacon, Ruva said. Military grade. Durrell. Your people left this? No, she said, her face turning serious. This wasn't part of my mission. Someone else is watching. Milo looked worried. Could they be coming here? Yes, she said, and not for peace. They brought the beacon inside and placed it on the table. Milo opened it carefully. Inside was a message core. The code was scrambled, but Ruva read parts of it. Backup team. Confirm target status. Eliminate if needed. Milo sighed. So even if you don't finish the job, someone else will. Ruva didn't speak. She looked at him, then at the message again. That night, they didn't sleep much. Ruva sat by the door, blade across her lap. Milo stayed at the control desk, watching for signals. Sometime before dawn, Milo broke the silence. Why did you join the Durrell warriors? Ruva stared at the floor. It was expected. My planet was attacked when I was young. Half my people died. We swore never to be weak again. I'm sorry, Milo said. Don't be, she replied. We became strong. But strength isn't only weapons. Ruva looked at him. What else is it? Forgiveness, patience, kindness. You had the power to kill me, and you didn't. That's strength, too. She didn't answer, but his words stayed in her mind. The next morning, they worked together to disable the beacon. Ruva showed Milo how the device sent signals, and he used his tools to cut its power and bury the core in the desert. No one will trace it now, she said. I hope you're right. As days passed, the station became less tense. Ruva began helping with repairs. She learned to use human tools, and Milo learned about Durrell tech. One evening, they sat under the stars. Ruva looked up at the sky, her eyes soft for once. Do you miss Earth? She asked. Sometimes, Milo said. But not the noise, not the wars. You don't hate my people? No, I don't judge all by a few. Just like I hope you won't judge all humans by what you were told. Ruva stayed quiet, then said softly, You are not what I expected, and you're not what I feared, Milo replied. A light breeze blew past them. The desert was quiet again. They were two enemies, stranded together, but something was changing. The mission was no longer clear. The line between warrior and target, between alien and human, was beginning to blur. Ruva still had her blade, but for now, it stayed on the table, and she didn't sleep alone outside anymore. The days passed slowly on Outpost 17. The desert was quiet again. No new ships came from the sky, no signals were found. But inside the small power station, two very different beings were learning to live side by side. Milo sat at his desk, fixing a broken drone leg. His fingers moved carefully, attaching small wires. Across the room, Ruva sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed. She was meditating, something she did every morning now. Though she came from a world of warriors, she was slowly finding peace. When she opened her eyes, Milo looked over and smiled. You're getting good at doing nothing. Ruva gave him a sharp look. Meditation is not nothing. It clears the mind. A strong warrior must control thought before battle. I just call it sitting quietly, Milo said. Ruva stood. You humans laugh too much. That's how we survive, Milo replied. He handed her a repaired scanner. Here, fix this. We can use it to check deep signals again. Ruva took it and looked at the screen. No trace of my people. Still silent. Milo nodded. Maybe that's good. Ruva didn't answer. She walked outside, looking up at the sky. Milo followed her. You miss your people? Yes, she said. But not all of them. She sat on a rock near the solar panels. Milo sat beside her. My people believe in strength, Ruva said. We lost our homeworld long ago. Another race destroyed it. Since then, we never trust outsiders. I'm sorry, Milo said softly. We became warriors, fighters, survivors, she continued. But also something else. Cold, unforgiving. She looked at him. When I was sent here, I thought humans were like the ones who destroyed us. And now? I don't know, Ruva said. You're not what I was told. You're quiet, gentle, strong, but in a different way. Milo smiled. Maybe not all humans are the same. just like not all Durrell are like you. Ruva looked away. Some of my people would call me weak for not killing you. But you're still here, he said. And they're not. Suddenly, the scanner in her hand beeped. A signal. Both stood quickly. Milo checked the screen. It's a ship. Coming fast, from your sector. Ruva's face went hard. It's them. They found us. Can we hide? Milo asked. No, she said. They'll scan the entire area. They'll know I didn't finish the mission. What will they do? Ruva took a breath. Send someone stronger. Someone who won't hesitate. Inside the power station, they prepared quickly. Milo powered down the main systems to lower the energy signature. Ruva rechecked her blade and armor. We can't run, Milo said. I know, Ruva replied. We stand. She placed a small device on the table. A hologram showed a Durrell face. Male, stronger build, cold eyes. Kavar, Ruva said. Elite hunter, my rival. He always finishes the job. Milo stared at the image. He's coming here? Yes, she said. And he won't stop until we're both gone. Milo turned toward his tools. Then we fight back. Ruva looked surprised. You're not a warrior. No, Milo said, picking up a wrench. But I build things, traps, defenses, systems. I can do my part. Ruva smiled slightly. Then let's prepare. For the next 2 days, they worked together nonstop. Milo built traps from power coils and shock panels. Ruva set motion mines and energy nets. The power station became a fortress. At night, they sat side by side, checking their plans. Milo looked at her. You don't have to stay. You could leave. He won't hurt you if you finish your mission. Ruva shook her head. I've already failed the mission, but I've found something more important. What's that? She looked at him. Truth. The next morning, the ship arrived. It fell from the sky like a black arrow, landing just beyond the hill. Dust flew in all directions. The ground shook. Ruva stood by the door, her blade ready. Milo stayed behind cover, holding a control pad. Kavar stepped into view, tall, armored, glowing with deep red light. His voice was cold. Ruva, you have betrayed your kind. I found a better path, she replied. You side with the enemy. No. I protected the innocent. Kavar raised his weapon. Then you will fall with him. He rushed forward. The traps began to trigger. Shock plates burst under his feet. Nets flew out from the walls. Explosions rocked the ground. But Kavar was fast. Too fast. He dodged the first few, breaking through to the station walls. Ruva met him there. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. Their fight was fierce and silent. Every move was perfect. They were trained for this. Inside, Milo activated the final defense, a high-voltage field around the station. Kavar slammed Ruva against the wall. She was strong, but he was stronger. You are weak, he growled. No, Ruva said. I chose a better way. He raised his blade for the final strike. Then, boom! A shockwave hit them. Milo's trap worked. Kavar flew backward, landing hard. Ruva dropped to her knees, wounded. Milo ran to her. Ruva! She smiled weakly. I'm fine. Finish it. Milo turned to Kavar, who tried to stand. But Milo pointed a pulse weapon at the fuel cell near the warrior. Don't move, he warned. Kavar stared at him, confused. You're just an engineer. Milo's hands were steady. Yes, but I protect what matters. Kavar looked at Ruva one last time, then vanished in a teleport flash. Retreat! The fight was over. Milo dropped the weapon and helped Ruva up. She leaned on him, breathing hard. You saved me, she said. We saved each other. The power station was quiet again, but everything had changed. Broken wires hung from the walls. The floor was covered with dust, scorched metal, and the marks of a fierce battle. Smoke rose from the corners where traps had exploded. Outside, the desert was still, as if nothing had happened. Inside, Ruva lay on the floor, breathing heavily. Her armor was cracked. Her shoulder was burned from the last blast. Milo knelt beside her, gently cleaning the wound with a cloth. "You should rest," he said. "I'm fine," she replied. "You say that a lot." Milo smiled. "I am a warrior, and warriors bleed like everyone else," he answered softly. She didn't argue. He helped her sit against the wall. Her eyes closed for a moment. Milo looked around. "He'll be back, won't he?" Ruva nodded. "Yes. Kavar won't give up. He's proud. He'll return with more force." Milo stood up and walked toward his desk. He picked up a small, cracked photo, an old picture of him and his younger brother. Both were smiling, the kind of smile that disappeared during the Earth Wars. "I've run from war all my life," Milo said. "I came here to escape. But now," Ruva looked at him, "now you're in the middle of it." "Yes." She slowly stood, wincing as she moved. "We have little time. If Kavar returns with a team, we won't survive. We need a plan. We need each other," she said simply. Milo looked at her, not as an alien, not as an enemy, but as someone who had become his only ally, maybe even a friend. Together, they began to rebuild. For the next 2 days, they worked like a team. Ruva taught Milo how to handle Durell weapons, simple tricks, quick movements, pressure points. He was no fighter, but he learned fast. In return, Milo taught her how to control the power station systems, defense grids, energy waves, and hidden vents. She respected his mind. He respected her strength. They slept in shifts, ate together, and trained. And slowly, trust turned into something deeper. One evening, as the twin suns dropped below the hills, Ruva and Milo stood on the roof of the station. The sky was red and gold. The wind was soft. "Your world is beautiful," Ruva said. "It doesn't feel like mine anymore," Milo replied. "You live here. You protect it. It is your world now." Milo looked at her. "What about you?" "I don't know where I belong," she whispered. "Not with my people, not fully here." "You belong where you are safe." Ruva looked into his eyes. "Then maybe I belong here." The silence between them was not empty. It was calm, peaceful. Then a sound broke it. Beep, beep, beep. The long-range scanner activated. A ship was entering the atmosphere. Milo checked the screen. "Durell warpod, large, more than one passenger." "They're coming," Ruva said, her voice calm. Milo looked at her. "Can we run?" "No, not now." "Then we fight?" "Yes," she said, "but this time I protect you as." The ship landed in the valley. Milo activated the final defenses. The energy walls rose from the sand, creating a shielded circle around the station. Ruva placed mines in the weak spots and climbed to the roof with her sniper blade. Milo stayed below, ready to trigger traps. The war pod opened. 3 Durell warriors stepped out, Kavar in the lead. His eyes were locked on the building, his face full of anger. "You made me retreat once," Kavar shouted. "You will not do it again." "Go back," Ruva called from the roof. "This is not your mission anymore." "You are a traitor," he said. "I am free." Kavar raised his weapon. "Then die as one." The warriors charged. Ruva fired first, her sniper blade slicing through the air. One of the enemies dropped. Milo triggered an energy trap, throwing another into a pit. Kavar reached the wall. He slammed it with full force. Sparks flew. Ruva jumped down, blade ready. They clashed again, harder, faster than before. This was more than a fight. This was a battle of purpose, of truth. Milo watched through the monitor, heart pounding. He had never seen such speed, such skill. Ruva was fierce, not because of anger, but because of what she was protecting. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for him. Kavar struck hard. Ruva fell back. He raised his blade for a final blow, but before he could strike, Milo appeared behind him, holding a power rod. He slammed it against Kavar's back. Crack! Kavar roared and turned, swinging wildly. Milo rolled away, gasping. Ruva stood and struck fast. Her blade hit Kavar's arm. He dropped his weapon. She pointed her blade at his neck. "It's over," she said. Kavar stared at her. "You are lost." "No," she said. "I am found." Kavar tapped his armor. A red light flashed. Emergency beam. He vanished in a blink, leaving only silence. The battle was over. Milo dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Ruva ran to him. "You saved me," she said. He smiled, weak but happy. "I thought that was your job." They both laughed, not out of joy, but out of relief. They had survived. Together. That night, Ruva sat beside him inside the station. Her head rested gently on his shoulder. The lights were low. Outside, the stars shone bright and clear. Milo spoke softly. "Are they coming again?" "No," she said. "Kavar lost honor. He won't report. We are safe. For now." "And you?" "I stay," she said. "Not as a warrior. Not as an enemy." He looked at her. "As what?" She smiled. "As yours." The power station was quiet again, but everything had changed. Ruva and Milo had been through more than anyone could imagine. Together, they had fought against Durrell warriors, survived a desert storm, and learned to trust one another. Now, in the calm after the battle, they faced a new reality, one that was as uncertain as the vast desert outside. Ruva sat near the window looking out at the stars. She hadn't slept much in the past few days. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the faces of her people, the warriors who had raised her, the ones who sent her to kill Milo. Milo sat across the room, tinkering with the control panels. He was quieter now, less sure of his place in the world. He had come to the colony to escape war, only to find himself right in the middle of it. But now, after everything that had happened, he wasn't sure what to do next. Ruva broke the silence. "We should leave." Milo looked up. "Leave?" "Yes," she said, standing and walking toward him. "We can't stay here forever. I've killed warriors before, but I never thought I'd be in a place like this, not just hiding, but living." Milo stood slowly, his hands brushing against the desk. "I don't know what's next either. I came here to get away from everything. But now we face the choice," Ruva said softly. Milo looked at her, confused. "The choice?" She nodded. "You want peace. I want to leave the past behind, but we can't keep running forever. What happens if we don't leave?" Milo frowned. "We fight." "Fight?" Ruva's voice grew hard. "I've done enough of that. I've fought my whole life, and look where it's gotten me. Hiding in a desert, far from my people, far from everything I once knew." Milo stepped forward. "You don't have to be alone anymore. You have me." Ruva's eyes softened. She looked at him for a long moment, her heart heavy. "But I'm still not free. Not really. I've made mistakes. I've killed people. I don't know how to stop." Milo reached out and took her hand. "You're not the same person you were before. You've changed. I've seen it. You have a choice, Ruva. You can walk away from your past. You don't have to keep running from it." Ruva closed her eyes, her breath catching in her chest. "I don't know if I can." "You don't have to do it alone," Milo said softly. "You've already made the hardest choice. You chose to help me. You chose to save me. You chose to fight for something better." She looked down at their hands. But if I stay, I'll be hunted. They won't stop. I'll protect you, Milo said. And you'll protect me. She raised her eyes to his. And if they come for us again? Then we fight, Milo said firmly. Together. Ruva stared at him, her heart torn. She wanted peace, but peace came with a price. She had spent her life learning to be a warrior, to follow orders without question, to fight without hesitation. But now, she wasn't sure if that was the right path anymore. For so long, she had been taught that her strength came from her ability to destroy, to fight, to win. But with Milo, she had seen a different kind of strength. One that didn't come from weapons, but from kindness, from trust, from choosing to protect instead of harm. Finally, she spoke. What if I stay, but I'm not the same? What if I can't forget everything I've done? Milo's gaze softened. You won't forget. But you can choose to change. Every day you get to choose. She looked at him, her eyes filled with uncertainty, but also hope. We both have a past, Milo continued, but we can choose what we do with the future, together. Ruva took a deep breath, then nodded. Then I choose this. Milo smiled, a warmth in his eyes. We'll make it through this, together. Over the next few days, they prepared for the future. Milo worked to repair the power station, making sure it was stronger than before. Ruva helped him, using her strength to carry heavy equipment and clear debris. But more than that, they spent time talking, really talking, about their lives. Their fears, their hopes. They shared stories about their worlds. Ruva told Milo about the Durrell, her home planet, and the harsh ways of her people. She told him about her training, the missions she had been sent on, and the warriors she had killed. Milo, in turn, spoke of Earth, of the wars, the destruction, and the way humans had torn their planet apart. He told her about his family, how he had left everything behind in search of peace. They found comfort in each other's words. And in the silence that followed, they found a sense of belonging, something neither of them had felt in a long time. One evening, as the twin sun set behind the hills, Milo and Ruva stood outside looking at the stars. The desert stretched out before them, empty and quiet. Ruva looked at Milo. What happens if they come? They will, Milo said. But we're ready now. Ready for what? She asked. Ready to fight for what's ours, he replied. Ready to fight for each other. Ruva smiled. It wasn't a smile of victory, but one of understanding. We've already won, she said, by choosing to stay. Milo nodded, his hand resting lightly on hers. Then let's make this our home. And for the first time, Ruva felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The power station was quiet, its humming engines the only sound. The desert stretched endlessly outside, silent and vast. The twin suns were just dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows across the sand. For the first time in what felt like forever, there was peace in the air. Ruva stood at the window staring out at the desert. Her once broken armor was repaired, but the scars on her heart were deeper. She still carried the weight of her past, but for the first time, it felt lighter. Behind her, Milo worked. He was always working, always fixing, always making sure the station was running smoothly. He had grown stronger since the battle with Kavar, and the weight of his own past seemed lighter, too. Come on, Ruva. The night's beautiful, Milo said, his voice soft. She turned around to see him holding 2 mugs of warm tea. The stars outside were starting to twinkle in the darkening sky. Ruva smiled, a rare sight. You never stop, do you? I have to keep busy, he said, handing her a mug. We've come this far. Might as well make the most of it. She took the mug from him, their fingers brushing for a brief moment. The touch lingered longer than it should have, but neither of them said anything. They had crossed many lines in the past, but this one felt different. It wasn't the tension of battle anymore. It was something softer, something they both weren't ready to name just yet. They sat on the small couch inside the station, their mugs warming their hands. Ruva sipped her tea, her eyes flicking to the window every so often, as if waiting for something to change, waiting for danger to return. But after a few moments, she let out a slow breath and relaxed, her shoulders easing from the tension they'd carried for so long. Milo looked at her with quiet understanding. "I know it's hard, Ruva. I know you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but maybe it's time to stop waiting." She glanced at him, surprised by his words. "What do you mean?" "You don't always have to be on alert. You've been through enough. Maybe it's time to just live for a while." She shook her head, her expression distant. "I've been living in a war my whole life. I don't know how to stop." "You don't have to stop being strong," Milo said. "But strength doesn't just come from fighting, it comes from peace too. It comes from letting yourself be free." She didn't reply at first. The words hung in the air, quiet and uncertain. But for the first time, she felt the possibility of it. Of peace. Of freedom. It felt like something she could hold on to. "I'm not sure." "I can do that," she said, her voice softer than before. "You don't have to do it alone," Milo replied. "I'm here. We're in this together." The warmth of his words settled over her like a blanket. For so long she had fought alone, her only purpose to survive and carry out her missions. But now, sitting beside him, she realized something had changed. She had found something she hadn't been looking for. Someone who cared. For a while, they just sat in silence, the quiet, comfortable between them. Then Milo set his empty mug aside and looked at her, his gaze steady. "Ruva, there's something I need to ask you." She raised an eyebrow, curious but cautious. "What?" Milo hesitated, then took a deep breath. "Will you stay here? With me?" Ruva's heart skipped a beat. She turned away slightly, looking out the window, the stars sparkling like distant memories. "Stay here?" she repeated, the question lingering in her mind. "You want me to stay?" "Yeah," Milo said. "I know we've been through a lot. I know I'm not the kind of person you're used to, but I can't do this alone, and I don't want to." Ruva felt her chest tighten. His words were simple, but they carried so much weight. He was offering something she'd never expected. He was offering a chance to be more than just a soldier, more than just a weapon. He was offering a place, a home. She turned back to him, her eyes searching his face for any sign of hesitation. But all she saw was sincerity. Milo wasn't asking for her to be anyone other than who she was. "I don't know how to be part of something like this," Ruva whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I've been alone for so long, I'm not sure I even know how to stay." Milo smiled gently. "You don't have to figure it all out right now. We can take it one step at a time. Just stay." Ruva looked at him for a long moment, weighing his words. The battle had been fierce. The past had been unforgiving. But in that moment, something in her shifted. She could stay. She could choose. To be something more than just a warrior. She could choose to be herself. "Yes," she finally said, her voice steady. "I'll stay." Milo's face lit up with a smile, and he reached out, his hand resting gently on hers. It was a simple gesture, but to Ruva, it meant everything. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged somewhere. Days turned into weeks. Life at the power station became a routine, a new kind of normal. Milo and Ruva worked side by side, repairing the station and keeping watch over the desert. They shared quiet meals, long talks under the stars, and moments of silence that spoke volumes. Ruva had come to understand that peace wasn't something you found. It was something You built step by step, day by day, and together, they were building something real. One night, as they sat outside, watching the sky shift from dusk to night, Ruva rested her head on Milo's shoulder. His arm wrapped around her without hesitation, pulling her close. They didn't need words. They didn't need promises. They had each other. And for once, that was enough.